Hey, welcome back to Outback Wilderness Adventures. I'm Mark. It's been a long time coming for this quick review of the Orbis Overlanding Rack Wing setup I've got on my 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness Edition. It's a really cool aftermarket accessory you can throw in your car pretty simply, and it works great for mounting a Roto-Pax fuel or water can, or you can put quick fists, or really your imagination can really run wild with what you might want to put on there. For me, it just seemed like an easy way to throw a 1.75 liter gas jug on the car, so that if I'm doing some soft roading or overlanding or whatever that weird animal is that just rode over there, any off-roading stuff, and I just want to have a little bit of extra security and fuel, you know, where I might need to get back to a gas station. I figure, you know, if you're in an off-roading situation, you might be getting somewhere, you know, 15, depending, you know, obviously it depends on what type of off-roading you're doing, but I'm thinking somewhere between 10-15 miles to the gallon. So with almost 2 gallons of gas, that's enough of a bailout, hopefully, with the kind of stuff that I do with my family, to get me where there is at least civilization, if not a gas station. My family's big on hiking. We love to hike, like to go kayaking, camping, that sort of thing. So we're typically not too far out into the wilderness. So having just a little bit of extra fuel was a great thing for me. And I also just think it looks really cool in the car too. So here in a second, I'll take you over there to the other side of the vehicle, kind of show you how I've got it set up. The installation is super simple. It doesn't really come with a ton of instructions, because you don't really need a ton of instructions. It's just a U-bolt that goes across your ladder style, not crossbars, but the roof rack. And you know, from there you're just mounting one little piece to that, a couple of little hangers, and then the wing itself after you put the suction cup on the wing. And so from there you just kit it out however you'd like to. So here, we'll go over there and look at it on the other side of the car, and I'll give you kind of, you know, an overview of how it installs. There's plenty of videos, I'm sure, out there of people actually showing the installation, but it's fairly intuitive and self-explanatory if you just look at it, and at least you'll get an idea of kind of how I'm using it on my Outback with the Roto-Pax and so on and so forth. So here, let's go take a look at it. So this is the rack wing as I have it installed. Once again, my main focus was to have a fuel can on the Outback, so that as we're out and about doing our family adventures, you know, we have a little bit of extra fuel with us. Once again, my family's big on hiking and kayaking and camping and that sort of thing. So it's good to have a vehicle that supports kind of an adventurous outdoors lifestyle. We've got, you know, some Thule Hull-a-Port XT kayak rack. We've got the Yakima SkinnyWarrior half basket with some X-Bull recovery boards, you can see right there somewhere in here, and then my little LH Bond shovel in there, and then I've got a CVT Pioneer 55-inch awning on the other side, running some DDS4 ditch lights on LP Aventure mounts. Everything else is pretty much stock. There's really not a whole lot done to it besides those things, and I think this is a perfect complement, once again, to wanting just to get out there and a little bit further out than the average person goes in their daily activities. But you know, we're certainly not looking to take this brand new vehicle out on 50-mile, 100-mile, 500-mile overlanding trips. It's still a station wagon. I affectionately call it the Wonder Wagon. So this is a great piece of kit for me that I keep on all the time, and when I need it, I fill the gas jug up and we take off with it. So I'll point out a couple little things. You know, I've talked about how easy it is to install, but I still managed to screw up the U-bolts that came with it, because I had gotten the nuts mixed up, and I tried to put some of these nylon threaded nuts that were really supposed to go with these bolts on the U-bolts, and ended up screwing up the nuts and the U-bolts. You know, I had to cut them off actually in one case to get them off. So I've got just some replacement hardware store U-bolts on there, and then I had to replace the nylon threaded nuts on there. You'll see here there's a weird kind of scratch along this, and you'll see that this has got a very rough edge up here. That's because the way I've got mine set up and where I wanted it to hit my window, and without me paying a ton of attention in which specific mount I ordered, this is what was necessary for me to mount mine where it sits and where my crossbars. I've got Thule extended arrow crossbars on my car, and this locking mechanism sticks out far enough that it really interfered with the wing. The wing did come through here, and I grounded this off and did a fairly rough job, but it's not an aesthetic thing for me, and honestly, if you're not looking for it, you wouldn't really notice it, even when you get pretty close to it. For some reason, it shows up, more on the camera than it does to my eyes. But I need these crossbars in specific places for the half basket and the awning, and where I want the kayak racks to hit the kayak. So I probably could have adjusted the crossbars around the wing, but the way I needed it lay out, this was the easiest thing for me to do, is just take a little angle grinder and grind that off. It took me all of, 5 minutes to cut this off, and then spray paint it with barbecue grill paint in the areas where the raw aluminum was showing, and it fits fine and works great for how I want it without any structural integrity issues. And I didn't even get into these slots here, which would be great for mounting quick fists. And for those of you who don't know what a quick fist is, this is a quick fist. It's how I've got my shovel mounted, or sometimes I'll put a kayak paddle up here, or I could throw a hatchet or an axe or something up there too. I've got the quick fist just on here with hose clamps, but there's a bolt in the back of this, and you could use those, or an area for a bolt, and you could put a bolt through here and put quick fist all over this thing if you wanted to, and kit it out with any number of things. I've got the Roto-Pax locking set up here, and this does come pre-drilled for a Roto-Pax mount, and you don't even have to use a little spacer. This mounts right up to it. Gas can is full right now. I just got back from a trip up to Cheehaw Mountain, the highest point in Alabama, and so I wasn't sure how much back roads we'd be meandering around, so I did go ahead and fill it up. And the way this whole thing works, you've got some hinges up here, so you mount this to your crossbar, and then you mount hinges to the top of it, and then the wing mounts to the hinges. It's very, very simple, intuitive. And then you see this really high-powered suction cup that mounts to the back of the wing with this little screw you can see poking out here, and you actually pump the air out. You can see all the air is already gone. There's not doing a lot of pumping, but if I use this little tab here and break the seal, you'll see that this on this piston, there's a red line showing. So from my rear view mirror, as I'm driving, I can look in my rear view mirror, and I've got kind of that angle, and I can see that red line poking out, and I know, okay, it's time to pump the air back out of that thing. But go ahead and break the seal all the way, and then this just lifts up on the hinges, and it suction cups right there to the window, and lean on it a little bit, pump out the air, and that's about it. I mean, that's you've seen it go from unsuction to suction just about that quick, and you can see, I'm shaking the whole car. I don't know if you can tell in the video because I'm shaking the camera too as I hold it, but I'm putting, all my 185 pounds of body weight on that, and it's not going anywhere. So it's super solid. I don't even really pick up a whole lot of wind noise, but then once again, I've got ditch lights and racks and awnings, and so this car is surprisingly quiet with all this stuff on there. I don't really notice a bunch of wind noise, and certainly this hasn't added any wind noise on top of what may already be happening with the rest of this stuff. And so anyway, it's once again, I think it looks really cool. It's functional and practical for my lifestyle, and fits right in the philosophy of use for a car like this in my family anyway. So super happy with it. The folks over at Orbis Overlanding are great to work with and deal with, and so I certainly recommend this as a product if you're looking for something to take your Outback or Crosstrek, or maybe even an Ascent, who knows. I know this was originally designed for the Crosstrek, works great for the Outback, and worked great on the Outback Wilderness stock OEM ladder rack system up here. So anyway, that's what it looks like. That's how it functions. Certainly worth the coin, and it's a great company to deal with and work with. So certainly highly recommend the folks over at Orbis Overlanding. They do some other cool stuff too. They make some molly panels and stuff like that for the inside of your vehicle that hang on the back of the seat and can mount in there. So there's other options, and I'll probably end up with some of that stuff too, just because I really appreciate the folks over there and the products they make, and they also, you know, source other great items too that they don't make themselves. In fact, that's where I got these Dark Defense DDS4s, and these are just a little lens cover. I'll do a full review on these at some point in the near future too, but these are lots of fun. And so they have a lot of cool overlanding equipment over there. So certainly check out Orbis Overlanding and the Rack Wing, and throw one on there. You will not be disappointed.